Hello and welcome back to World of Tanks with Dsann. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at this little beastie, the Russian Tier 8 light tank, the T54 lightweight, which obviously follows right behind the LTTB. So before I start, I would just like to apologize for not putting out content. I've been super busy the last couple of weeks with real life stuff, although I should hopefully be able to put out a lot more content, but I say that a lot, so we'll have to wait and see, huh? I've also been trying to figure out what other games to do, but for now I'll stick to good old World of Tanks. So, let's get on with this review, shall we? So, as I said, it is a Tier 8 light tank. It sits here in the tech tree, and it leads to its big brother T54, which we shall in fact compare it to. It has 1200 hit points, which is a little bit higher than the other Tier 8s, I believe. Let me just double check that. So, let's see, where's that RU251, which I could get right now if I wanted, but I'm not gonna. The T49, which is just silly, and I really don't want. And Frenchie, where's the Frenchie? There it is. 1390, isn't there another? There's one more, I think. Oh yeah, Chinese have one, don't they? Which is totally overshadowed by the T54 lightweight. They are pretty much the same tank in essence, but nope. It is vastly better than this. So as you can see, it has slightly more hit points, more hit points than the American and the French, a lot more than the Chinese, and the same as the German, but Germans have always been known for having pretty high hit points. Okay, so it is a 30-ton tank, coupled with its 700 horsepower engine. That gives you a neat 22.5 specific power, which is pretty nifty, although I believe the LTTB had a higher specific power, which means it doesn't feel quite as nimble as the LTTB, although I do believe it has a slightly higher top speed. I think it's like 1 kilometer an hour. Let's have a gander. Yeah, so it has slightly higher top speed. What's the top traverse on this versus this? So the T54 is slightly faster and turns faster, 50 degrees per second at 69. Versus 68, like 48 degrees. But it is minute, and I think the power to weight difference means this feels a little bit more sluggish. Although it'll still hit its top speed very easily, and it's still a very fast medium. Not a medium tank. It feels a lot like a medium tank, though, which I'll explain in a bit. Hull armor, I mean, it's a light tank. It's nothing to write home about. I mean, for a light tank, it's really good. If we compare, heck, why not take a look at that's one tier lower. So I mean, it is the best armed of the Tier 8 lights, easily. It is a cut down T54. I'd say it's very akin to the Type 59. Not quite as troll, but it's pretty similar stat wise. I mean, it's not that big of a difference. And being they're both based off the same hull, that kind of makes sense. So the gun, you have two guns, the stock D10T and the upgraded 1945 version. Very minor difference, a little bit more rate of fire. The top gun is more accurate, and if you have the T54, you'll already have the gun, so there's that. If you're going from this to the T54, that's a different story. Now the tank will set you back a cool 1.6 million, and no, it's 2.4. Sorry, I forget it's on sale right now, and 96,000 experience. So not a cheap tank, and the top gun will set you back 17k, top engine will set you back 27, and top tracks will set you back 14k experience. Now if you have the T54, you'll have the engine and the gun, as I believe that is the stock gun on this, as well as the upgraded engine on the T54, and it is. So if you just compare the stats, I mean, I don't actually have a T54 in my garage, but other than some damage and stuff, I mean, they're pretty much the same tank. For all intents and purposes, they're pretty much the same machine. Pardon me. The T54 lightweight is just stripped down version with slightly lighter armor. That is really the only difference. And then we get to the rate of fire. As I said, 7.5 second reload. Rate of fire. Let's try that again. 7.5 rounds per minute. 175 pen, 250 alpha. When it fires APCR, not heat, so there's that. So just bear that in mind. It is fairly accurate. I mean, it's 0.38. It's not very accurate, but it doesn't feel as inaccurate as that number would suggest, and the 2.3 second aiming time is really nice. Now, I run mine a little bit more aggressively. Also, it has 390 meter view range and 760 signal range, which I believe is pretty much, wrong button, pretty much just standard for the tier 8s as far as I'm aware. A little bit low view range, no, same as the T59. This is so professional. 400 view range on that. And then you get the poor WZ-132, which is just considerably worse in every way. I mean, why would you ever drive this tank, which I assume that's the Top Gun, I have no idea. It's slightly more accurate but lower rate of fire. I mean, I've dueled 132s in this thing and I win. You'll win every time. So, I run mine with vents, rammer, and vert stab because I run mine more as a breakthrough, like, how do I explain it? You want to break through and try to pick off the weak tanks some more than just scouting. It's these tier 8s are much more than just, you know, sit in a bush and scout for the entire game or whatever you want to do in scouting. That said, I mean, you could run it with, you know, binos, camo, whatever, or just throw some coated optics. I prefer to use mine as more of a very light medium tank, which has netted me mixed results, but I mean, it's still a very solid tank, you know, all in all. So yeah, I would, for crew skills, just camo and then everything else, you know, 6th Sense, Brothers in Arms, and then whatever else catches your eye, really. So, before we do the replays, I just want to show the armor really quick in Tank Viewer, with not much armor there to begin with, but compared to the others, it's a lot. So, let's hop over there and take a gander, shall we? Okay, here we see the T54 Lightweight and the Tank Inspector. As I said earlier, it doesn't have a lot of armor, but it has a lot of various armor zones. Now here is 80, sorry. But as you can see, it's pretty well sloped. I mean, that is, if you just do it like that, that is quite a slope, and it does count for, well, you'd need more than 130 pen to get through that reliably. 100, actually the lower plate's tougher than the upper plate. That's not very common. Oh. Get your barrel back down. So for the turret, it's all over the place. It's, you know, here's a ricochet because of the angles. If we just look head on to the turret, size of ricochets, obviously. But I mean, this is one of those tanks. Taking hits is, wow, that's quite a lot of armor there for a light tank. But I mean, don't rely on your armor. I mean, the side is paper, rear is non-existent. There's actually this band here, and oh, that's interesting. There, these are even thinner, although really it doesn't matter. I mean, it's the rear of a light tank. I don't think you're gonna take much punishment there before you die. So just to compare, I mean, it's got slightly worse damage than the average tier 8 light tank apparently. DPM's lower, although that seems a bit weird. I thought the DPM would be higher than 1900, but it's still a punchy tank. I still enjoy it. So reload time is 7 seconds. It's actually not too bad. Let's see here. Maneuverability, accuracy is pretty good. With, you know, actually let's see what the stats are like with my layout. So I had, oh, I don't even remember what the second one I had is anymore. I know I had vertical stabilizer, if it's here somewhere. I think I had vents. Well, let's just take a look with vents so we can see that the accuracy with all that is 0.35. 2 second, almost 2 second aim time. So, gun depression is, well, it's not the worst that I've seen on a Russian tank, that's for sure. It's better than the LTTB, but don't rely on it. So, mobility, it's got very good power. Specific power is actually slightly lower than the average, which doesn't surprise me. The traverse speed is really good, and the top speed is pretty much par for the course compared to the others. It's got relatively, it's pretty good on soft terrain from what I can tell, and as I said, 1200 hit points. It's got a surprisingly tough engine for its tier, but as in most Russian tanks, it's made of ammo racks. You will take ammo rack damage in this thing. Anyway, let's head on over to them replays, shall we? Okay, here's the first replay. I am on Airfield. This is a standard battle, and I'm with my platoon mate over there in his 1375, Mr. Admiral Akbar. So, this replay I act more as a, well, I try to be more of a standard scout, although I don't do a really good job, to be completely honest. Just speed this up. As you can see, easily hitting like 60, well, until I hit that bump. But it just, I don't know, it doesn't feel quite as nimble as the previous tank did. So, let's just speed this up, get me into position, and much of the game I'm going to be spending behind the safety of this rock. Now this is a tier 10 game, and I forgot to change it so that it shows the tanks, because I'm a scrub. So I have, since the patch, not installed the standard reticule you might have noticed in my previous videos, so just be aware of that. So first thing we see is a mouse and a conqueror. I completely ignore the mouse for good reason. Well, this gun will never get through a mouse. I mean, it only has 175 penetration. You're lucky to get through the rear of a mouse with that kind of gun. So Admiral Akbar has gone up a little further ahead, and it didn't pay out for him, to be fair. He died horribly. So I'm just trying to be here, spot, try and put in some flanking fire, and oh, there's the Jagdpanzer 100 over there. It's pretty quiet, so I'm gonna speed things up a bit. Actually, I'm not gonna. So while we're just watching this slowly unfolding, as I said, I don't do much early. It mostly kicks in a little bit later on, but just like to just mention something real quick about the new YouTube changes. I will not be making 60 FPS videos for a couple of reasons. One, my computer just doesn't want to record at 60 FPS properly, and I didn't feel it was recording quality I wanted. So there's that, and the fact that I want everyone to be able to watch my videos, not just, you know, people who use Chrome. So there's that. Anyway, back to the replay. I've tried tracking the mouse to try and help that 113, but I mean, 113 is going to struggle against the mouse, and ooh, the mouse did take a big hit there. Probably artillery. So he's looking at me now, and I foolishly try. Ooh, whoa. Jagdpanzer 100 shoots at me, mouse shoots at me, everyone shoots at me. And this is something I've noticed in light tanks a lot, is you will take a lot of fire. There's one thing people like to do, is shoot light tanks. See? Example, the artillery. Oh, that was lucky. I used my repair kit and just about dodged that mouse's shot. So I'm just sitting here trying to, well, unintentionally drawing their fire, which is one thing. Oh, the Jagdpanzer 100 is looking right at me, and I am a one-shot kill for him. I am a high roll away from being one-shotted by him at full health, so yeah, there's that. So our tanks are killing, being killed. It's pretty even so far. I mean, we are a little bit ahead. So I go for the tracks. No idea where that shot went. It hit, but that's all I know. It connected. I think it might have hit the armor instead. So I'm just waiting for an opportunity to get. Oh no! Don't kill me! Don't kill me, Mr. Mouse. But yes, I'm just trying to spot, be useful while same time not dying. And we get a track shot, and we take out his front drive wheel. Artillery hits us for a fuckload of damage. We're lucky to survive that, actually. Why they already focused us there? Good question. Put in a damaging hit on the IS-7, which was honestly quite surprising. I didn't think I'd be penetrating an IS-7 even at that angle or that range. So now things are looking quite solid in our favor. And oh, that was another artillery shot aimed towards me by the looks of it. Obviously expecting me to be hiding in the bush. I don't do that. I like keeping solid things between me, and oh god, that was close. No chance to penetrate him with the standard ammo. Now, if I'd had premium ammo, I might have been able to go through him, but I don't know. I'm more than happy to let my team take the damage and do the damage to him. So now that he's gone, I see my chance to do as much damage as possible. So I use every ounce of speed this thing can muster and rush them. And the speedometer is going fucking crazy. As replays are weird. They don't always show very accurate numbers, to put it that way. So they have 3 artillery and a Waffenträger left. It's about to be 2 artillery, isn't it? No, 3 artillery and a Waffenträger. I mean, left, sorry. So I figure, okay, I'm gonna help clean up. We put a nice shot into that mountain. Because, you know, fuck mountains. Doop. He misses, he gets shot by the leopard. So we just I kinda YOLO dive off here if memory serves. Get a little bit more damage in, and oh god, what is he doing? What is he doing? No, 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 don't kill me. Whew. Too close. So yeah, that was one where I was trying to spot. Didn't really do that good a job in my opinion, but we'll see in the after battle stats, shall we? So let's head on over there now. Okay, here you see the after battle stats. So you can see that I got 22,000 credits and 2,100 XP doubled for first win of the day. I also got Confederate and Bruiser, which is one of the newer medals, so I can get those quite often, especially in this tank. So if we just hop on over here, we can see that I actually did pretty good. I got 4th place on the team. Only did 1,000 damage and got 700 XP base. If you look here, I fired 14 times, which 13 were hits and only 10 were penetrations. So bear that in mind. The gun doesn't have all penetration in the world. I took 2 hits and they almost wrecked me, as you saw. Nothing really to mention here. Here though, I mean, spotted 1, damage 6. Look at that pathetic assistance damage. Obviously I wasn't spotting very well, so that's to mention. I did make a profit, barely. As with most tier 8 and up, it becomes increasingly hard to make a profit unless you do a lot of damage. So yeah, ended up with 2,100 credits and XP, sorry, doubled for the first one a day and all that. So let's get on with the second replay, shall we? Okay, here we see the second replay, this one on Ensk. It is a standard battle, and, well, what more is there to say? Let's get this show on the road. Tier 10 as usual. It's a very tier 10 tank, so you see a lot of tier 9 and 10s. So I'm just going to speed this up. Again, at the start of the match, I like to kind of just spot a little bit while I wait for openings and weaknesses in the enemy line, or try to anyway. Not always as easy, I've noticed. So we're gonna back this 140 up. I'm gonna just poke through some bushes. And where is everyone? Random artillery shot out of nowhere. Don't know what that was. That was a random shot out of nowhere. That might have been some effect. I don't know. Player, who knows? Anyway, there's no one out here. So I'm going to speed it up again because, well, we rush across the field, and normally there'd be something here. Tank destroyer, some artillery, nothing. None. Okay, well, let's move on then. Ah, here we have some targets. Ooh, and why didn't I shoot that T-28 prototype? I still don't know this. But there's something we can shoot, a 1375. Oh, we dunk our shot. We try and ram him. We only slide him off course. We take a little bit of damage, and good night. Angry teammates are angry. An E100 firing gold. What a shocker. That's about as rare as a T54 fire in gold. Standard T54, that is. 1375 we just killed is raging at his team for some inexplicable reason. Probably because there's no one over here. So I move up along the with the mediums. And use them as meat shields, to put it rudely. Oh, and I take a big hit from a WoT Waffenträger Panzer IV, and we get greedy. I'm not gonna lie, I got greedy. So now we're just waiting. Oh, he's turned his turret away. Let's poke. Wait for a reload. Oh, he's looking our way. He bounces or misses. I can't quite tell. That actually looked like something bounced off my hull there. Yeah, it did. Neat. So, trying to figure out where to go. I'm gonna back up Miss Big Brother T54 here. You can see there's not much difference in the tanks, really. T54 is slightly bigger. Rushing across the cap to get to cover. Now we're just waiting. He fires. So I know he has a longer reload than... Well, he has a really long reload, so I'm going to exploit that. He's fired again. And we see the Waffenträger 100. We ram him for good measure. Nets us a kamikaze, and oh boy. Why is he not fired? Is he reloading? So yes, it seems I came across a Waffenträger E100 that was reloading. And, you know, I gotta give the guy some props. He fought back as valiantly as he could, but, I mean, he didn't stand a chance. So I've loaded HE here because, well, I can. Fire right up into his gun. And the M103 finishes him off. And that was the last kill. So a short but fun little replay where I do a lot more in my opinion. And this is how I feel the tank should be used, as more of a support for the other mediums, as a breakthrough tank. And well, you want to pick off the lonely, weakened targets like the Waffenträger 100 that was reloading. Anyway, let's go see how we did in the after battle stats, shall we? Okay, here you can see the after battle stats, and as you see I did a lot more this time. I got 2300 XP, and that was not doubled. So this was not my first one of the day. I believe it was in fact the same day. I'll have to double check that, but it's not really relevant. I made 33,000 credits, second class mastery, kamikaze, bruiser again, duelist, which was funny. No, it's not bruiser, that's funny, I think. No? There's one. Fire for effect, that's the one where you have to do more damage than you have HPs, which means I did at least 1200 plus damage. So, hopping over here, we can see that I in fact did 2000 damage, which put me in... where am I? Middle of the team, but I did get 1000 XP because, well, I shot some really big targets. Again, negligible damage upon detecting and assistance. So, there's really not much I did to help my team. I did bounce a 375 damage shot though, which is interesting. Actually, it was 2 shots. So yeah. Yeah, 10 shots fired, 8 hits, 8 pens. I mean, when you're shooting a Waffenträger, it's hard not to penetrate it. Be it the Panzer IV or the E100. Just gotta hit the turret on the E100. We made 20,000 credits in profit, so that was really nice. And as I said, 2,000 damage undoubled because, well, I just played really well that game. So anyway, that's the after battle stats done. Let's go back to the garage to finish this review up, shall we? Okay, that was 2 replays done. We've taken a look at the tank in both the garage and in Tank Viewer. Hopefully you have a better idea of how this tank performs, either, you know, as a tank you want to drive or as a tank you have to defeat. So, thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, favorite, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter for all the updates, and I will see y'all next time.